Coming up on The Cut, fashion, fashion, and more fashion. Tune in to see who is the best dressed at the 2020 Oscars, including inside looks at the outfits of Leonardo DiCaprio and Billie Eilish.
And who won what at the Oscars? We get a special report on the 4 Academy Award-winning film, Parasite.
Plus, the MLB has some big changes for the October playoff season.
Good evening and welcome to The Cut. I'm Rudy Cavazos.
And I'm Milan Andrade. Thank you for joining us. With the biggest red carpet event being this past Sunday night, the world continues to rave about the Oscars, making it safe to say it's one of the most extravagant events of the year. With that being said, the looks that were served at the event are still taking the internet by storm. All the celebs from Leonardo DiCaprio, who showed up in a killer Christian Louis Vuitton suit, all the way to Billie Eilish, who showed off her iconic style in an oversized Chanel suit with finger gloves. Once they stepped out on the red carpet, both these celebs and many more did not come to play. Now I'm just waiting for the day when I can catwalk down that famous red carpet for myself. So Rudy, if you were invited to the Oscars, what would be your signature color?
I think I would definitely go for like maybe a green mixed with red, but I definitely couldn't pull off what Billie Eilish did.
Like a Christmas moment?
There you go,
like
yeah.
a little Christmas
Happy
moment?
holidays moment.
With continuing coverage of the 2020 Oscars, Cut reporter Isabella Fredrickson takes a closer look at the impressive group's win for the night.
The 2020 Oscars was an award show like no other. There was an array of performances, tributes, as well as stars who got political, but the biggest takeaway this year was a movie that made Oscar history. The movie is the 2019 South Korean film Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Parasite is a drama, mystery, and thriller film about the lengths a poor family will go to live a better life and avoid exposure. Parasite won an astounding 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Foreign Language Film, and Best Original Screenplay. Parasite broke Oscar history by becoming the first non-English film in the 92 years of the Oscars to win the award for Best Picture. For The Cut, I'm Isabella Fredrickson.
Word on the street, a new album will be dropping this Valentine's Day. Cut reporter Madeline Williamson has more.
Justin Bieber's new album, Changes, will drop February 14th, this Valentine's Day. It's been 5 years since Bieber has released an album. His latest album, Purpose, was released in 2015, but Never Say Never. A new album will debut February 14th, and Bieber fans are counting down the days. The album will include 17 new songs, including his latest hit, Get Me, featuring Kehlani. While waiting for the album, fans can see how his new album was made by checking out his new documentary, Justin Bieber, on Seasons on YouTube. Reporting for The Cut, I'm Madeline Williamson.
Major League Baseball is considering a drastic change in their playoff format. For more, we turn to Abna Subhan.
Nothing is more traditional than October baseball, but there may be change on the way. The number of teams could extend from 10 to 14, eliminating the one-game playoff. The top team in both leagues would receive a first-round bye, and most interestingly, the team with a better record chooses their opponent in a reality-style TV. The possible shakeup likely hopes to drive ratings up and upgrade broadcast deals. Unsurprisingly, the report caused a stir among fans and even some players. Some are glad to see baseball progressing, while others see a complicated solution to a simple problem. Playoff baseball is undoubtedly MLB's strongest time of the year. Expanding could make an already long regular season mean even less. In a down year, the NBA proposed similar changes, but for the regular season, which is 80 games less than baseball's. The proposal will, of course, be collectively bargained between the owners and players. Perhaps MLB should look at taking down restrictive game blackouts to up ratings and market players better to increase popularity before bouncing back between extremes. For The Cut, I'm Amna Safan.
Head coach Trisha Ford for the Arizona State University softball team has led the team to 3 postseason appearances in 3 seasons. This includes a trip to the Women's College World Series in 2018. Along with all of these accomplishments, Coach Ford has helped Farrington Stadium finally get a new state-of-the-art hitting facility. The new facility is expected to be completed in March with the technology the team has used in the past. This includes 3 cages with retractable nets and air conditioning. The funding for the facility came from the school's donors, including Betsy and Kent Bro. ASU Athletic Director Ray Anderson has also played a big part in the building process. Head coach Tricia Ford said, "Any of the top programs have a hitting facility. To me, it's tremendous. It makes our stadium look like a stadium." Oh, so I really think that after with all those rewards that the team has progressed with, I think it's honorable that they only get a new stadium.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also because ASU, whenever there's funding for sports, it seems like it always tends to go to football. You see them with all the new gear and the new setup for their stadium and even their locker rooms. So the fact that another sport, especially a women's sport, is getting all the funding and kind of making their stadium look more like a stadium is awesome.
Totally.
Yeah. Accused NAU shooter Stephen Jones reached a plea agreement in the Coconino County Superior Court in Flagstaff last week. Back in October of 2015, Jones was a freshman at NAU. He was accused of murder and aggravated assault in a shooting on campus. Now, as part of his plea deal, Jones pleading guilty to manslaughter and 3 counts of aggravated assault. Coronavirus whistleblower and Chinese doctor Li Young died on Friday after he contracted the coronavirus while working at the Wuhan Central Hospital. Li sent out a memo in December to fellow medics regarding the virus, issuing the first warning about the disease, yet police responded saying to stop making false comments.
A wave of anger has flooded Chinese social media website Weibo following the death of Li, standing up against the Chinese government. The 2 hashtags Wuhan government owes Dr. Li Young an apology and We Want Freedom of Speech were trending Friday night, yet were quickly censored by the government the following morning. According to the BBC, hundreds of thousands of comments have been wiped from the social media site. So, I think even though he put out this whistleblower, he gave way of what was going to happen, and it stood true. And because the government was censoring that and said, no, we don't want to frantic the public, he ended up dying for it, essentially.
Yeah.
So the word wasn't spread out. How do you feel about that?
Well, especially because he's a doctor, so he has that scientific and that medical background to kind of back up what he's saying. But it really does put in perspective of how grateful we are as Americans to kind of have that First Amendment to back us up, that we can say what we would like to, especially if it was something like a medical crisis like this. So it really does put in perspective that it is fortunate enough that we live here, that we are able to kind of give that insight to people who might not know a lot of viruses and a lot of illnesses that are in the area.
For sure, and I mean, only if it was published that the coronavirus was a thing, it might have saved a lot of people.
Oh, of course.
That's it for this episode of The Cut. Thank you for joining us.
And for more behind-the-scenes looks at our content, be sure to follow us on social media at @thecut_network.
We'll see you next week.